The Arizona Cardinals drafted Kyler Murray with the number one overall pick last week, and I believe that it was a massive mistake. Arizona drafted Josh Rosen 10th overall last year, and I was always on the fence about Josh Rosen because after he was drafted, he came out and said that there were 9 mistakes drafted before me. And with an arrogant statement like that, you're supposed to deliver big time immediately, and he didn't. But again, Josh Rosen was just drafted last year. You had a coaching change, and I get it. You know, you bring in a new coach. The system that he runs is different than the system that you believe that Josh Rosen would succeed in, and you want to move him. But Cliff Kingsbury, and I get teams wanting to do this just so they could eliminate any unwanted attention to their team. But you just say, like a few months ago, you just said that you were going to keep Josh Rosen and you were going to bring Kyler Murray in. And then you trade the kid. I mean, what was the point of drafting Josh Rosen if you were just going to turn around and draft another quarterback again this year? I mean, Arizona was terrible last year. The whole team was terrible. The only bright spot I can say that I can even think about last year for Arizona Cardinals was Patrick Peterson, but he's always the bright spot for that team. Arizona was terrible last year. Josh Rosen wasn't put in a position to win. And how do we know that Kyler Murray will even work out? I mean, I also wanted to make a video about the whole Daniel Jones situation because I believe that kid was extremely disrespected by everybody. I mean, everybody that covered the Giants draft pick just was talking shit about this kid like they knew him personally. Nobody knew this kid. Nobody knows how good he can be. Nobody knows anything about him. Like, even some people even came out and said, I'd never watched him play before. I never even heard of him before. So why is this such a bad pick? Why? Because the Giants passed up on a black quarterback, Dwayne Haskins? And I honestly believe that Dwayne Haskins felt some type of way. So when the Washington Redskins took a chance on him with the 15th pick, he was just standing there with this shitty look on his face. Like, okay, so you just gonna let me go? Fine. Like, bro, loyalty in sports does not exist. And sure, you see a lot of teams drafting players that are either from their state or from their city or has some affiliations with their city. Like LeBron going to Cleveland, DeAndre Ayton going to Phoenix. I believe there was a player that went. I'm trying to think of his name. Josh Norman going to Carolina. You know, so. But as far as loyalty in sports, that shit does not exist. And it should be treated as such. I mean, I believe the Giants made the best pick for them. Just like I believe the Giants made the better pick at taking Jones. Then Arizona did taking Kyler Murray. I mean, this dude is short like Drew Brees. I mean, he runs like RG3. I mean, but we don't know how good this kid can be. And you take him number one, and you ship Josh Rosen out to Miami. I mean, it's only been 1 year. Like, teams are so impatient, and this is what keeps them in the cellar. Teams are so impatient. They don't have the right development for these players, the development process, program, whatever, for these players to actually get the most out of their abilities. And then they just trade them. And then when you trade them to a team that can actually use them and use them right, you look like an ass. You look like an ass. You look like you don't know what you're doing. To be honest, out of Kyler going to Arizona, Daniel Jones going to New York, and Haskins in Washington, I think out of the three of those guys that has the best chance to succeed, is Jones. I mean, you got to look at the team that's built around them, and you have to look at the pieces that they have to work with. Jones is in the best position to win right now. I'm not saying he will win. I'm not saying that the others won't. But he's in the best position as of this moment to win. I mean, you can just look at Saquon as a massive positive. That this kid is he's going to succeed, but he's also going to learn as he goes along. Kind of like Dak did. Dak learned on the fly. He also did a phenomenal job, game managing his rookie year. But I'm gonna let him talk. Real quick, the only way that Arizona was going to keep Josh Rosen is if nobody wanted to give them anything for him. That was it. Are you sure though? I mean, there's a strong chance, even if Rosen would have stayed in Arizona, that they would have just went with Kyler Murray because one, that's like you said, that's the popular choice. People love Kyler Murray. I mean, he's exciting to watch. I guess he has all the tools that you look at when you in a I guess an exciting starting quarterback. But would he have been better than Josh Rosen? I mean, Kyler Murray started 1 year at Oklahoma. And yeah, he had a great year. But you're talking about a big 5-star program. Or 6-star program, however they rate them star-wise. 5 or 6-star program. You're talking about a powerhouse that's fighting for national championships every year. Just like Haskins, people gave Daniel Jones a lot of shit because he played at Duke, and he wasn't even that good at Duke or whatever. But Haskins, he played for Ohio State, which is also another big program. Duke is a basketball school. Duke is not a football school. Ohio State is a football school. Oklahoma is a football school. Oh man, I really do believe they should have went somewhere else. They should have tried to shore up the offensive line. They should have tried to trade down to get more picks. They should have, shit. I mean, to be honest, if they were picking number 1, and I had to pick, honestly, I think I'm shoring up that defensive line. I'm trying to develop a pass rush. I'm trying to give fucking Pat Peterson some help back there. I'm trying to rush the quarterback, so put them in mistakes. I think I would go Nick Bosa, honestly, or Keenan Williams, Rashawn Gary. It was a whole bunch of pass rushers, and honestly, pass rushers have a higher success rate than quarterbacks in the top 10. I don't know. I think Keenan Williams is like a run stopper. I don't know. It's whatever. I still would have went defensive line, honestly. I mean, teams put so much emphasis on passing the goddamn ball, they completely just forget about every other fucking position on the field until they get that quarterback. And the chances of you getting that quarterback is very slim, man. And look, man, I agree with Mark Schlereth. Sometimes a clean slate is best for both parties, but not after 1 year. That come on, that's like dating somebody for a weekend. You know what? I don't know if this is working for me. Come on, it's just such a small sample size. You didn't even let the kid finish out his rookie contract. You don't know how good this kid could have been in Arizona. But Kyler Murray is so fucking exciting. You fell in love with him. It better work. It better work. If it does not work, they will regret it. They will regret it. I'm not saying they will regret moving on from Josh Rosen, but not only did you sacrifice Rosen for this kid, you used a pick where you could have even moved down. You could have possibly moved to the end of the first round, possibly get another couple of first round picks in the future. I don't know, man. You could have stretched this out to where it really benefited you over the long haul. This kid better work out. I mean, I'm talking Pro Bowls. I'm talking potential MVPs. I'm talking that type of shit. This kid has to work. Otherwise, this was just a failed experiment, and they screwed up royally. Real quick, and before Marcellus comes in and says what I'm about to say, Sam Bradford was like a 7-year vet, 8-year vet when he was in Philly, and he moved on. He was in the league for a while. Who Sam Bradford was at that point, that's just who he was going to be for the rest of his career. He was already developed enough. I always thought that Sam Bradford was the most overrated. He was the only quarterback I've ever seen throughout his career that got paid big time fucking money and never earned a dime of it. Never earned a dime of his money, but this dude got big contract after big contract. And I believe they changed the rules because of his rookie contract, where this dude was guaranteed 50 or 60 million or some shit like that in his rookie contract. Only dude I know to get paid for doing nothing. But he was already established in the league. I mean, he was he was a vet in the league. Josh Rosen is not the same as Sam Bradford. You can't really compare. Josh Rosen just got to the league last year. That's different.
Steve Moss, the Cowboys in 90, I think flipped him for a first, second, and third pick. I don't think they should have been in a rush.
And you can't really compare the 90s to now because just value of people are different. I mean, it probably was so much harder to find a quarterback then than it is now because it's a lot easier to find a quarterback that you could just plug in because there's so many different systems that you could run that will, help a quarterback succeed, man. It's a different time. And I've never seen this guy who he's talking about, but I'm pretty sure it's just different situations, man. The situations just don't line up for this to really make any sense. I wouldn't even say brighter. Sam Bradford was incredibly overrated. No, I wouldn't say brighter. He was just a more established quarterback because he's been in the league longer. Here we go again with the numbers.
How could he make it any better? I think second round is about right.
Yeah, I think it would. Well, I think you make a good point about holding on. If somebody is desperate, maybe you get more.
I'm not saying New England would have gave you a second round pick for Josh Rosen, but New England at some point would have been desperate enough to trade for this kid. But I don't think that New England was willing to give up what Miami was willing to give up. That's the reason why that never went through. But yeah, if you have an asset that people want and you hold on to them and you force everybody to fucking meet your demands that you want for this kid, eventually they will if they're desperate enough. But I don't know, man. I just don't think they should have moved on from the kid. Like, you at least got to give... If you draft a quarterback in the top 10, you at least got to give him his rookie contract to see if you can make it work. But again, they fell in love with Kyler, and that was it.
You get more next draft. You get more, and they're a football team. Having called 5 of their games, they were awful. And so, for them, they're looking at how can we get more dynamic now. We got a different quarterback going a different direction. How can we get more dynamic now?
Listen, they still have the same fucking team. Like, Mark Schlereth just said that this was a bad football team. How is Kyler Murray coming in going to change that from bad to good? It's not. Like, you still need pieces around him. Like, how is he going to fare much better than fucking Josh Rosen? I mean, I've seen people add a quarterback and turn an average team into a good team. I've never seen a quarterback get added to a team and turn a bad team into a good team. It's like levels. Like, you can't just fix one piece of a broken part of a broken structure and expect the structure to work. You got to fix everything. You got to fix as much as you can to get it running. Like,
They got a second round pick that Isabella kid, I think is his name, that can flat run. So they're looking at, we've got to build now. And if you're general manager Steve Kahn and you went through what you went through the last year, was that bad? Listen, you're fighting for your general managing life right now. And so that's the direction they went.
and that's a bad way to run a team. Desperate. Being desperate is a bad way to run a team because it forces you. Your thinking is, I need to make big moves. And sometimes when you force big moves to happen, you make big mistakes. You make big fucking mistakes when you try to force things to happen. Like, that's the worst thing is to be desperate, man.
You get a second rounder and a fifth rounder on your squad going forward versus respectfully a dead weight backup quarterback because he's not going to get opportunities out there. So you get some personnel. All right, before we go.
So, let me ask, was Colin Kaepernick or Alex Smith dead weight? Because when Jim Harbaugh got there and Alex Smith started, he was phenomenal. And a lot of people could have looked at Colin Kaepernick as dead weight. A lot of people could have looked at Colin Kaepernick as dead weight. And then Alex Smith went down with an injury. You put Colin Kaepernick in, and they go to the goddamn Super Bowl. Who knows what happens? All right, if Kyler Murray doesn't work out, if you start him and he doesn't play how you want, you would have thought he would play, then you plug in Josh Rosen. I mean, and then he could work in any system that Cliff Kingsbury. You see, and that's the difference between a great coach and a bad coach, man. That's the difference. Being able to be as flexible as possible to accommodate every player on your team, instead of having a system and just you removing the players that don't fit your. This in today's league, it's not just that simple. You can't just plug a system and expect it to work. Flexibility is extremely important. Having a system that can accommodate the talents of multiple players on your team is very crucial. Nick Foles and Carson Wentz are two different players. Nick Foles was playing at an MVP level. Doug Peterson, smart, in a smart fashion, switched a few things to simplify the offense for Nick Foles. And boom, Nick Foles went on to help them win the Super Bowl. It works, man. All right, I'm done.